Hi, you're on the John Fredericks Media Network and the John Fredericks Radio app. Thanks for being with us. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Don't forget, you can follow me on social media at JF Radio Show, at JF Radio Show, also on Substack. That's very easy. jfradioshow.substack.com, jfradioshow.substack.com. Got a lot of good things coming out. I am off tomorrow. Killer Carl filling in for me 6 to 8. Yay. Professor Phil Klein 8 to 10, and we'll see you on Monday, actually Saturday, for Godzilla Wins. Happy Thanksgiving to you all, because I say it all the time because we have different people coming in and out of the show all morning. So want to be sure everybody gets a happy Thanksgiving. Your calls with us, always 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Joining me now, Representative Haridopolos. Now, this is one of my favorite reps. I probably shouldn't tell him that, right? Make his head get big. But he is, I think, Florida 7. Are you? No, Florida 8, right?
Florida correct. 8. Yeah, Florida 8. That's correct, John. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well, by the way.
All right. We got you by phone here. Okay, lots to cover. So I'm going to go rapid fire. I just want to get your take. This is potpourri, right? Because it's before Thanksgiving. I just want to get your take over the phone on all this stuff. I'm going to start with the seditious 6. What was your reaction to that, Representative Howard?
It was shocking. I mean, this is what the Confederacy was all about. I mean, you think of it. What is it? Jefferson Davis, the new intellectual giant of the Democrat Party? I mean, this is nullification, where they basically say they're only going to enforce the laws they want to enforce, and it's very much represented in the idea of the thing called sanctuary cities, where the cities are not prosecuting and going after not only the illegals, but more importantly, violent illegal aliens that are ravaging our cities today. And the fact that they would actually now ask the military to turn their back on our commander-in-chief is unbelievable. But as usual, the mainstream press gives them the free pass of not glorifying their ridiculous comments.
You know, Mike, what are we going to do about it?
I think that's the question. I think this is the kind of thing where one is we need to go out full force, like I try to do every day with the press, and saying, when are you going to start calling balls and strikes here? You give these people a free pass, and you're almost glorifying defying the United States Constitution. We have a federal government, and if you think that you can just recommend to our servicemen and women that they should not obey the commander-in-chief, popularly elected, by the way, not only popularly voted by the Electoral College, that's ridiculous. And we need to put some of these heads on the wall in the sense of they need to be prosecuted and face justice. But it always seems like they find their favorite judge to let them off the hook, as we've seen recently with the Attorney General in New York. And it's why we need to be more aggressive in using our oversight abilities in Congress.
Okay, so speaking of that, let me ask you about the dismissal of the Comey case and the Letitia James case yesterday. I was at the White House on the press gaggle with Caroline Leavitt. She said they're going to immediately file to get this reinstated, and that the president said, "Look, we've been down this road before." What was your reaction to that, Mike?
Well, again, you saw they found the most liberal judge they can find, and they were able to get them off on the technicality. But it doesn't mean that they did not commit these crimes. I mean, if everyday Americans are being prosecuted for this, they need to be prosecuted for it. It was a tax evasion issue on both cases, and at least on the Letitia James case, and of course the Comey one is even more serious in my opinion. This is a case where we need to be aggressive and we just stay on the case. The Democrats are still talking about January 6th, 5 years later. I mean, we need to stay aggressive and talk about these absolutely horrendous moves made by these liberals. And the other part of it is, you remember, these are the same people who said no one's above the law. Well, welcome to reality. And I'm glad to see Karen Leavitt is speaking for the president and saying that we're going to continue these efforts once the technical situation goes away with the prosecutor up north.
We're with Mike Haridopolos. Mike is a congressman, Republican representative. That's from Florida 8. That's in South Florida. Mike, give us the boundaries of your district.
Our district runs on the north side, I think, of course, Kennedy Space Center, where they launch rockets. We'll be going to the moon again next year, at least circling it with the Artemis mission, and then down to Vero Beach. It's about 100 miles long or so, about 800,000 people, beautiful areas like Cocoa Beach, Melbourne Beach, in the Atlantic. Vero Beach, some beautiful beaches there, and it's the surfing capital of the United States.
Well, you represent God's country. That is one of the best kept secrets of Florida. People, we probably should have let this out, right? It really it's such a beautiful area because people think it's, they think of the Jacksonville area, then they think of Panhandle, South Florida, or West Coast. But people, those of us that have lived there, it is just a gorgeous area. I used to work for the Daytona Beach News Journal, so we used to go to Cocoa
Hmm.
Beach all the time. I'm a lifelong Astros fan. Way back years ago, Cocoa Beach was the Astros spring training home. So
Yep,
when I
yep,
was at the News Journal, I'd play
sure.
hooky during spring training, cut out early, and go see. God, this is back in the this is a long time ago, the '80s or something. See the Astros play at Cocoa Beach. So
Oh yeah, Nolan Ryan and the gang. That's right, J.R. Richard. Sure.
okay, hey, dude. Okay, now you're talking my language. Those are all my heroes back in the day. That we used to go and see them. And
Hmm.
anyway, I don't know how I got off on that topic, but it's a gorgeous area. Let's get to a couple other topics. I want to get your thoughts on the Trump Mandami meeting on Friday. What was your gut reaction to that when it was happening, and then a weekend after?
Well, I've been thinking about that a lot. I mean, look, whether we like it or not, this guy was elected. He has to live within the bounds of the Constitution. Clearly, Trump is not going to be giving him money if he's still allowing for it to be a sanctuary city, etc. I think he's kind of set the bar. If Mandami succeeds, he said he gave him a shot. If he fails, like we all think he will, if he tries to follow socialist policies, Trump will say, "I told you so." So I think Trump tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. He wants New York to succeed. We all want it to succeed. But you and I know, John, that if you follow communist, let alone socialist policies, you're going to fail. And people are coming to that reality now. They're not going to get free bus fare. They're not going to get all the sixth grade class president type promises he made to the people of New York with just ridiculous ideas. I hope that New York succeeds, but they're not going to succeed if they follow his doctrine during the campaign.
You think President Trump set him up to fail and he doesn't have to take any responsibility because he can say, well, look, I tried to help the guy. His policies suck.
That's exactly my point as well. I think he said, "Look, I want this guy to succeed, but if he follows his own path, he's going to fail. If he follows the common sense path, which Giuliani was able to do after David Dinkins, if you recall, back in the '80s, that's the path. You need to empower people, not the government. And you can't rent control or tax your way to prosperity. It will never work. You need to follow the dictates of free markets and the idea that people want to invest in the city because when they're not being protected by their own police force, they're going to flee. And we're already seeing the real estate market boom in Florida because of this recent election.
We're with Florida Representative Congressman Mike Haridopolos. Mike is from Florida 8. He's a Republican. So let's get to some of the meat of the day here before we get to the Thanksgiving turkey. We got midterms coming up, but the main thing, couple issues here, big. The main thing we got going on is the Obamacare tax subsidies expire December 31st. They were sunsetted by the Democrats. Regardless, Mike, of how we got here, my point is, it doesn't matter how we got here. Obamacare doesn't work. It was a lie. It's been, 15 years, whatever. All I know is people are going to open their mailbox on the 5th of January. Their health insurance is going to double or go up 90%, go from 400 to 780. They can't pay it. It's sticker shock, even though they've been told about it. It's not the way families work. They have a budget. And if we let this go, the Democrats are going to use this as a sledgehammer over our head, and we're going to lose the midterms, in my judgment. What's the answer?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure all of the listeners understand the numbers here, too, because I think you put them out pretty well. The Democrats passed Obamacare. They passed all of these subsidies to prop up a broken system, as you put perfectly, and then they did it again during the COVID years. Remember, they're supposed to just be temporary. But as you said, American public, they look at the bill that comes in the mail, and whoever's in power, they're probably going to be held responsible. So that being said, I want to put one more number out. This is really important. There are about 22 million people on Obamacare, but there are 165 million people who are not on Obamacare. They pay full freight, meaning $1,500 to $2,000 a month for a family of four, and they're subsidizing those 22 million on Obamacare. So what our goal should be, regardless of the politics, are to how do we lower costs for those people who are paying full freight and subsidizing with their tax dollars the 22 million who get the discount. That's my big picture goal. And with that in mind, what I've said is a couple things to start. One, first and foremost, there has to be income verification. Realistically, there is zero income verification right now. That means people can lie and get free health care. So that has to be done. We did that with Medicaid, by the way, back in July. The second thing we need to do is that everybody needs to pay a little bit into the system. Of those 22 million you said, John, about half of them have zero premiums. Yeah, you heard that right, zero premiums. They got to put something so they understand that healthcare is expensive, and they need to have a little bit of, quote, skin in the game. And this way we can also, those people have the bigger impact, I mean, the 400, 800, as you mentioned, we want to still help those folks out because you need to provide some type of glide path so they're not just absolutely eating those higher costs.
How are you going to do that between now and the end of December?
I think it's going to be really challenging, to put it simply. I think that we can and we should pass something dealing with a simple income verification. That's a no-brainer to me. And I think the other one is I think even Democrats in the Senate have said there should be zero premium programs cut out. I think Gene Shaheen, the senator from New Hampshire, even said that. So I think those are the starting points, and then we build from there. But we need to get to work. I know this is, of course, a family holiday week, which we're blessed to live here in the United States. But we need to get to work on this, and do know this: we have been working on this when the Democrats were shutting down the government for 43 days. We've been working on this. We're just trying to gain consensus because, as you know, John, we have an absolutely razor-thin majority in the House, and we have a few people like Thomas Massey who won't vote for anything. He's basically a Democrat now.
Waste of my time. I don't even bring his name up. Colossal waste of my time.
He is and MGT just joined his club, which is sad.
Well, she decided to get out. There'll be a special there. Governor Kemp's got to call one within, I think it's within 30 days or something. So it's going to be somewhere winter, probably March. And
yeah, probably March or April. And the good news is we should get another congressman in on December the 1st. The open seat in Tennessee we should win, so we'll make up for that seat. But we need every vote we can get, and this is why we have to be very, very surgical here because, there are moderate Republicans who don't always go along with the team, and you found that out throughout the year. But the good news is we have made a lot of progress on the border. We passed the big tax cuts on tips and overtime and Social Security. But we have a long way to go on health care, and we need to be I've always said, John, good policy makes good politics. And when we explain to people that 165 million people actually pay full freight and subsidize others, I think we need to put it in perspective because the media makes it seem like everybody is getting this huge increase that others would get, and that's not the case.
Well, you're gonna win the special. I think it's next Tuesday in Tennessee. You're going to win that Tennessee 6. That's Matt Van Epps. That's Trump plus 20. He's ran a really good campaign. He was an extraordinary candidate. So I think Van Epps wins that. And the person he's running against, total commie whack job.
Oh, my God, totally. And I've been with Matt before primary, just a great candidate, the kind of guy we need in Washington who's going to be a team player who understands basic Republican philosophy. More importantly, he's a man who's also served our country. So he's just the guy we need.
And then right after that, Tennessee 7, you got Johnny Garrett. He's also running for a seat there that's open. He'll win that. So reinforcements are coming, no doubt about it, in Tennessee at least, right? Tennessee volunteers are coming, I guess. Rocky Top's going to kill you guys out.
I love it.
Mike Haridopolos with us. So let's get to a couple other big issues here I want to go over with you. We talked about the Obamacare, the subsidies. President Trump right now has put a peace deal on the table for Ukraine. A lot of the neocons in your party going crazy over it. Newt Gingrich scathing editorial said it was a sellout and a capitulation. A lot of Democrats also want to see the war go on. They don't want to give Trump the credit. But I interviewed for an hour yesterday the new ambassador to the U.S. from Ukraine. She's been here about 6-7 weeks, Olga Stefanishina. And I didn't ask her the question directly because that's a no-win. But around the edges, there was no doubt when that hour was over that her country wants peace at almost in almost any direction now. They want peace. What is your reaction to this deal?
Well, what we have to do in this case, because as you know, none of us know what's going on in these negotiations for sure. There's a lot of hubbub back and forth, a lot of partisanship even, and as you put, neocons, etc. I trust Marco Rubio to work with the president and come up with a deal to bring peace. I mean, this area has been ravaged for years. We're spending way too much of our own dollars in addition to that, let alone our credibility around the world. I have to trust the good work that Marco Rubio, who I've known for over 25 years, to get the job done working with President Trump. Clearly, we have changed the equation over the last few years. Over the last year from the disaster of Joe Biden. I mean, this all happened because everyone knew Joe Biden was weak. They didn't do this under President Trump's watch. And so the president's going to do all he can to bring peace to the region. And we've already seen, I think he has already completed 8 peace deals in his first 11 months. I have a feeling he's going to find a way here as well. And I think Marco's the right person to go and kind of finalize that deal and use the weight of the presidency behind him.
What is your conference saying about the midterms?
You know, we're all worried about the midterms because, as you know, for our entire lifetime, the press has never given us a fair shake. I mean, when they talk about this affordability issue, it's a joke. I mean, remember, we inherited an absolute dumpster fire with inflation, whether it be rent up 30%, food prices up more than 30%, gas prices were up 50%. And then the Democrats said, we were going to make it more affordable for you. Well, their only plan is to go back to Joe Biden's plan, which is to raise your taxes and inflate the currency. They do that by, of course, spending an additional $1.5 trillion. So we feel like in the end, the election will be about a contrast, meaning are our plans better to reduce prices or are their plans better to reduce prices? Their only plan is to basically tax one group to pay another. And that's the old Democrat playbook, rob from Peter to pay Paul. And we don't think that's the best way to go. We think we need to energize the economy, and we think we'll be a stronger economy next year. And we're doing everything we can to make it less expensive, meaning spending less here, taxing less in Washington, so people have more of their own hard-earned money in their pockets. And we just got to hope that good policy makes good politics, because we can never turn around the liberal press, and that's why I'm so grateful for shows like yours. You lay out all the issues. You're willing to ask the tough questions and not just parrot whatever the Democrats tell you.
H1-B visas. We asked this question yesterday. Obviously, Caroline Levitt was asked directly if this was going to replace American workers. You know, there's what people forget about this one thing, and I hope he holds it, is the $100,000 deal. Because if a company's got to pay $100,000 to get one foreign worker in, you can bet that's not going to be for cheap labor. That's going to be for a special skill. Do you see the president holding to that $100,000?
I think he should. I mean, that again, we want to have a well-educated workforce here, and I think the president has put that number out there because it basically shows companies saying, look, we'd love to hire within America. We'd love to save $100,000. Think about it logically. But we can't find that employee, so we're going to have to go elsewhere to find them. What's great is our colleges, universities are a lot more flexible than they were in the past. They're moving away from a lot of this woke BS. And you're looking like schools like in my area called Central Florida, where they're producing 20,000 engineers every few years. I mean, that's the kind of smart programs we need, not all the social science majors like I used to be and a history professor. We need people who have a real skills, can go into the workplace and command those higher salaries. And I think the president has put a high number on there because he's trying to tell the private sector, look, if you really want these people, you need to actually go out and
really
pay for them. We want you to use Americans.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that $100,000 ends the argument of replacing Americans with cheap labor that I've harped on for 15 years since I've been on the air, because as long as you keep the 100,000, no company is going to replace a worker at a minimum wage worker for $20 an hour worker and pay $100,000. You're only going to pay the 100 if there's a specific skill you need for a specific period of time. So I think if the president holds to that, we can basically, I think, swallow this increase in H1B visas as long as you pay the $100,000. Mike, I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for being with us, Mike Haridopolos. People want to follow you, Mike. Where do they go?
You just simply go to Twitter or Facebook. Just type the name Mike Haridopolos, and you'll find it. And we just really appreciate what you do every day, John. Thank you for speaking the truth and following the Constitution every day. It means a lot to us, and our family wishes you a very, very happy Thanksgiving.
And Mike Haridopolos throwing out iconic Astros at Cocoa Beach, Nolan Ryan, J.R. Richard, Bob Watson, Jimmy Wynn. Way to go, bud. Thank you. We'll
Thanks,
see.
my friend. Have a great day.